After that, Queen Erka stood up weeping, and, accompanied by her ladies-in-waiting, she went to where King Thidrek was sitting. And when she came into the house, she spoke to King Thidrek. "Good friend Thidrek, how did my 2 sons honor themselves in battle? And how good warriors were they before they fell?" King Thidrek spoke out of great grief. "Lady, certainly they were great warriors, and they proved themselves well, and none of them wished to be separated from the others." She went to him and laid her arms around his neck and kissed him and said, "Good friend, King Thidrek, go now with me into the hall to King Attila, and be welcome and happy. It has often happened before, as now, that men have lost their lives in battle, and that was fated, and those who live after them must look after themselves. It is useless to grieve for dead men. Be happy now, and welcome with us, and with King Attila. Come now with me." King Thidrek stood up and went after Queen Erka into the hall. And when he came before King Attila, the king stood up and bade King Thidrek welcome, and kissed him, and bade him sit down next to him in the high seat, as he had earlier. King Thidrek accepted this, and remained a long time with King Attila, and their friendship was no worse than before. Two years after the battle at Gronsport, Queen Erka fell ill. And this illness was so serious that she knew that she would not live long if it did not come to an end. So violent was the illness. And one day, she sent word to King Thidrek that he should come to her. When he heard that she had sent for him, he went immediately to where she was. And when they met, they greeted each other warmly. And King Thidrek spoke. "It would be the greatest grief if this illness were to defeat you. It would be a great loss to Hunaland if this dear queen were to die. And God knows that I would lose my best friend if that happens." Queen Erka spoke. "Thidrek, you have been a great friend to us and to King Attila, and you have greatly strengthened our kingdom, and we have much good to repay you. It may happen that this illness will bring our friendship to an end. I wish you to accept a gift of friendship. I will give you 15 marks of red gold in one lump, and clothing cut from purple cloth. No man has ever seen richer clothing than this. And these will be your clothes of rank and honor. I will give you the maiden Herad, my kinswoman, and you will receive thus her advice. King Thidrek answered, "Good lady, Queen Erka, your disease is certainly serious. You have shown us great friendship, now as before. May God heal your illness, for we can do nothing against it. It will be a greater loss to King Attila to lose such a wife than to lose a large part of Hunaland." King Thidrek experienced such grief that he cried like a child, and he could not speak anymore. And he then went away. Queen Erka spoke again. "Where is my dear friend, Master Hildebrand?" "Here I am," he said, and went to her and asked what she wanted. And she took from her hand the best gold ring and gave it to him, and said that they should part friends and still be friends when they meet again. Master Hildebrand replied, "Lady, receive God's reward for this gift of friendship, and for many others you have given me in the past, and for all of your friendship you have shown both me and King Thidrek." And Master Hildebrand cried out, as did all of those who were there. Queen Erka spoke to her knights and asked them to call King Attila quickly to her. And when these knights had performed this errand, King Attila stood up quickly, and as soon as he came before her bed, he asked what she wished of him. And Queen Erka said, "Great King Attila, it may be that we shall part, and it may come about that you will be widowed. Do not let that last long. Marry better and dearer, as is appropriate. But if you take a bad wife, you will pay for it, and so will many others. Good sir, King Attila, do not take a wife from Niflungaland or from the kin of Aldrian. If you do that, you will pay, and there will never be a comparable misfortune to you or to your children if you do this." And when she had said that, she turned away from him. And then she died. When it became known that Queen Erka was dead, every child and every man in all of Hunaland wept, as well as in many other places. Everyone said that there had never been a dearer queen in Hunaland than she, nor one who had done more good for more men than Queen Erka. It was also said that never had more men wept in Hunaland for any woman. King Attila had the queen's body prepared richly, and she was buried by the city wall. And King Attila and King Thidrek of Bern and all the noblest men who were then in Susa stood over her grave, and all wept anew over her death. Let us spend some time after this episode today. To keep Queen Erka of Hunaland in our memory. Until we continue with a new episode about the life of young Sigurd and his demise. Back here in the Hall of Sagenheim.